Good evening. It's 7 o'clock here in New York City. We're at 30th Street here, outside of us. And this is the Tibet Center Kanchab Dulinga Buddhist Meditation and Study Center, located in New York City and northern New Jersey. And we're under the direction of Ling Rinpoche and under the sub-direction, if you want to put it that way, of Rato Khensa Thupten Lunda, known as Geshe Nikki Greenland. And this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma. Specifically, we're doing the Lam Rim. Before, we'll also be doing a little advice from His Holiness's latest book, Voice for the Voiceless. This is a biography, a political biography. There's a chapter 10 where he stops for a couple of pages and gives you advice on how to handle the situations he's been in without going nuts. And then you're calm and handle these situations calmly. Your mind is at its peak. You get angry, you lose a lot of your mental power. If there's anyone for whom you want us to pray for who has passed away in the last whenever, people in the floods in Texas, people in all the violent things, whatever, place their names in the chat box now. All the prayers we say are on the Tibet Center website in the FAQ section. Scroll down to prayers. So we'll start with the prayer for the spread of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, The bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayat Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. Usharaputra, this is how a bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family. Profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering and the world, with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Refuge and Bodhisattva vow. It's called Generating Bodhicitta. We say these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So as we have established a tradition started by Nikki Vreeland, we'll say one round of Om Mani Padme Hum. But first, a riddle. Those of you who were here the first time I gave class in the last, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we read some passage, and Dr. Ricard quoted a physicist, and the riddle is, what is it that never ends? So, I know you know, because you cheated. You win the prize, a ride on the subway. That's right. We reviewed, all the staff in Starbucks knows, so if you want to, you go out, run out, and get the end. Anyway, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. When it's over, if you say Om Mani Padme Hum, maybe you'll remember, because you were given the answer. And it's a useful thing because it'll help you, what's the word? Giving you the right gestalt about things. That's true. You got it. The present never ends. So what does that mean? It means very important to keep your mind in the present. It's eternal. The eternal now, it used to be called years ago. So it's a common thing not only for Buddhists, but quantum physicists that study time and talk about how it's a project. But the present is always here. In fact, all you ever have is right now. You don't have anything else. Everything else is a thought, a concept or whatever. So bear that in mind. And with that in your mind locked into what's going on now, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, money, 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 money. But the present ends, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. The idea is, that two things. Keep your mind on the present, and also time is really a conceptual projection. It's something. So, and it has to be calibrated in relation to something. Trees get round, this and that. It's always, so it's not inherently existent. That's all. So we had our fun. That's it. No more funning. Tonight, to start, we'll do the Lamrim, of course. But first, this is the latest of His Holiness's books. Basically, it's a political history of how he went to China. He was born, went to China as a teenager, met Mao, and over the years, all the troubles he's had, and a lot of pictures and all that. But in the middle of it, there's a chapter 10. It goes on for like 3 or 4 pages. Practices I find helpful in the face of suffering. Nobody's seen things that he's seen. At a young age, going to China, taking over the government, etc. Teenager, he was a teenager, and all the problems. So, let me read it slowly. Please feel free to interrupt, give your own opinion, whatever. It's a back and forth dialogue here. It's not, I'm not even speaking, he is. So, what? His Holiness, no, but he's giving you down-to-earth practical advice as a citizen, not as some high lama. It's how he dealt with it. Very humble. So let me pause here and offer reflection on how we can sustain our determination in the face of situations that seem daunting, even hopeless. What do you do when you're faced with things that are hopeless? Situations, or in life, let's face it, a lot of things. It is human to feel discouraged when confronted with terrible suffering with no perceivable end in sight. Agree? No. This is the experience for those in Tibet and for so many who have aspired for freedom under oppressive regimes. We can go around the world. It's all over the African continent, the whole show. Here lately. This must have been the overwhelming feeling for those many thousands of students in Beijing in 1989 in the wake of the cruel crackdown. Many a time in the years since 1950, I too have been confronted with such feelings have had to sustain my sense of hope. He's big on carrying a sense of hope. Hope is very positive, very nutritious for the mind. Try to find hope all the time. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But here are some practices I have found helpful in my own life. Notice nothing's Buddhist here. This is secular ethics on a nice plate. First and foremost, I remind myself that in any important journey, we will face difficulties. That's the nature of the beast. We're in samsara. Welcome home. So it is crucial to adopt the stance of being prepared right from the start. This fantasy of everything working out nice like a cartoon or a movie, that's not life. We like to think that way, relieve ourselves once in a while. But the truth is, reality is tough. We have to be prepared for it. This way, when we meet adversities, they don't come as a shock out of the blue and catch us unaware. As a Tibetan saying goes, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. My mother and her friends used to hope for the worst and be very upset when it didn't happen. So, suffering and problems are an inevitable part of human life. The question is, how do we respond? We're going to get them. Don't think that everything's going to be nice and smooth. No. We're going to get them. When we face suffering caused by natural disasters, despite the devastation and the loss of human life, generally, we are able to cope with the pain without giving into defeatism or bitterness, our big enemies. Defeatism. You'll never get out of it. So you lose your sense of hope. Hope is very nutritious. It's very good for you. Or bitterness. You change your whole mindset towards life. No good. These tragedies also bring out the best in humanity, and people respond spontaneously with compassion. We could see that. 9/11 here, we all lived through that, most of us. You're too young. You were alive then? But There is, however, man-made suffering for which we humans ourselves are the direct cause. It is this class of suffering that is harder to bear and requires more strength on our part to deal with. There is the risk of giving in to despair and hatred or responding to violence with violence. I think our government does that. Well, and it never, all these, over the course of history, violence with violence never ended anything. More violence comes down, so let's face it. I think we all agree that. Unfortunately, we humans tend to keep repeating the cycle. The key is never to lose sight of our shared humanity, common to perpetrator, victim, and ourselves. We're all human. If you read Shantideva, you realize these people are acting out of impulses of ignorance, of their afflictions. They're under control of the afflictions. Like when someone hits you with a stick, Shantideva says, why don't you get mad at the stick? Well, because the person wielded the stick. That's why. Well, that person was motivated by his or her afflictions. Just like they wielded the stick, the afflictions wielded them, put them in a mindset, and then they acted violently. Hard to do this. I mean, I've heard this, almost 50 years here. It's hard. You have to keep thinking about it when things are quiet and realizing basically you don't win with violence. So you'll come to that point. I don't have to. The key is never lose sight of our humanity. It is exactly for this reason that I have urged my fellow Tibetans to guard against hatred toward the Chinese. I remember a funeral that we had for Charmian, one of Chungla's patrons, back in '83. And Reverend Fayun from Grace and Gratitude Temple was leading the funeral prayers. He was doing it in Chinese. And some of the Tibetans were like, oh, Chinese. He's here the same reason you're here. He got thrown out. He couldn't practice his religion. And then the Mongolian Lama, Choje Lama, said he is doing the same ceremony we do in Tibet, the exact same words, because he spoke Chinese. He was imprisoned during World War II in Beijing. So it's funny. People lose sight of the humanity. This poor guy is in the same position as everybody else. Wonderful Lama, by the way, but it's Leon's teacher. Guard against hatred towards. I once told my fellow Tibetans when marking the first anniversary of the uprising in 1959 that in spite of the fact that we have to oppose communist China's actions, I can never bring myself to hate its people. Same here, with whoever is a supposed enemy. Can't hate the people. I said that especially from the perspective of our struggle for freedom. Hatred of an entire people will be a weakness and not a strength. You're carrying that hatred. You wiped out a lot of your intelligence as that seed is in you, operating. You could prove this yourself. You go crazy at work, you blow it. You lose your cool, whatever you want to call it. I speak an old language, lose your cool. I also reminded them when Buddha spoke of hatred leading only to further hatred, he was not just giving a spiritual teaching, he was also giving practical advice. This is something to think about. So if you respond to hatred with hatred, what's the result? Does it ever stop? Obviously not. So he's saying, I truly believe that a movement rooted in hatred, however noble the cause, will destroy the basis for a lasting future resolution. So you must train your mind not to go crazy, not to hate, see the common humanity, and also, and he'll mention it later, see the totality, as if you were in a plane that looks up and sees what's coming in, what's going to happen, all that. You had a clairvoyant view. The totality of things. This little conflict can go away. I remember my father and his friends, like during World War II, what's going to happen? They said they're going to do business after the war is over. They did. We're very friendly with Germany and Japan. Same here. Very friendly with Vietnam now. That's what happens. So why go to the lower realms over something like that? You do something, give in to hatred. You do something and that'll plant you right, give you the seed to show up in the lower realms. A nice house in the lower realms. There's a spot in hell for you. It's no good. I truly believe the movement in hatred is not a cause of lasting future resolution. In Buddhist teachings, there is, in fact, a special emphasis on viewing one's adversaries, those who are creating trouble for you, as spiritual teachers on every level. You know, real enemies shooting at you, or somebody else who just annoys you in something. They're your teacher. How can you learn patience? You can't learn it from someone who's very kind, or your mother. No. I don't like that advice. I don't find it pleasant, but it's the truth. You know, me not liking it doesn't make it not the truth. I have to get used to it. Regardless of their intention, they provide you with the opportunity to practice patience and compassion. Our adversaries are our most valuable teachers. This is a demonstrable fact of life. I think he's right. You think he's right? Yeah. While our friends can help us in many ways, it is our adversaries who provide us the challenge to develop the virtues essential for cultivating peace of mind and bringing us true happiness. Hint, hint, all the happiness is in the mind. It's not in your outer circumstance. That's a theme that goes through Buddhism on all the levels. The mind is the king or the prime or whatever you want, or the queen, whatever. They, personally speaking, as a follower of the Mahayana, a system of Buddhism that I personally refer to as the Sanskrit tradition, which we Tibetan Buddhists share with Chinese Buddhism, I have a deep appreciation for the ancient nation of China in practicing Buddhist tradition. A lot was kept in China. We talk about Tibet holding a lot of things from India. A lot was held in China, and he's going to enumerate that now. Buddhism came to China after about 4 centuries before it came to Tibet. We went there, it leaped over, because a lot of the Chinese monks went to India. They brought it back. Many texts that are lost in the original Indian language today survive in Chinese translation, such as the famous 5th century Buddhist logician Dignaga's work, Hetummuka, Hetummuka, Hetummuka. Within the two Tibetan canonical collections of Kanjur, which is the Mount of the Buddha, Ka, the scripture, and Tenja, the commentaries on it. Those are those books that we have also in our house. Every center has the collection. I know, the 218 volumes. Do you know? Anybody know? Whatever it is, not important. Several important texts translated from the Chinese. The Chinese commentary on the famed Mahayana scriptures, Samdini Nirmanakana Sutra, unraveling the intent. By the Korean monk Wangchuk, is highly admired in the Tibetan monasteries. They translated Wangchuk's commentary on the Samdini Nirmanakana into Chinese and held on to it. They saw something good. Remember, Buddhism went China, especially Zen, then Korea, then Japan. It didn't go China, Japan. So there's a whole tradition nobody talks about, but the Koreans carried on a lot too. Numerous schools of Mahayana Buddhism emerged, developed, and flourished in China. For instance, Tiantai, Huayan, Sanlun, Pure Land, and Chan, which is Zen, we call it, but the 6th patriarch, Chan. You know of any of these centers here? There's probably a YN center in New York, right? There's everything in New York, at least Flushing. Admirably, it is only in the Chinese tradition that the lineage of full ordination for women as bhikkhuni, fully ordained nuns, has survived, traceable all the way back to the time of the Buddha. That's a big deal. There's no monk male lineage traceable to the Buddha, just the female lineage outside of Tibet. Supposedly, I don't know. I don't understand all of that, but he's trying to point out that there's a lot of stuff that's being overlooked in the Chinese literature. And we have to do that here, maybe invite more teachers. We used to. The continued existence of this women's full ordination tradition gives me great joy. Among the numerous Chinese monastics I have met over the years in Taiwan and the West, 2 who inspired me most in the richness of the Chinese Buddhist traditions were the Reverend Chen Master Sheng Yen, 108th Street in Queens. He spoke at the Tibet Center, Rinpoche spoke at their center. Wonderful man. That's what we used to do. We have to continue doing that in the future. And the great Chinese Vinaya master Dao Hai. You know of him? Dao Hai? D-A-O-H-A-I. Dao Hai. Like, you have to walk with them? It's bad enough I have a New York accent and try and speak Chinese. Forget it. The Great Wall's falling. I have had the opportunity to engage in formal dialogues with both on our two Buddhist traditions, Tibetan and Chinese, with the latter once also in New York. That's right. At Roseland, His Holiness gave a talk there, and the Chinese master was there with his students, and they dialogued on tape. Somewhere it exists, maybe YouTube or something. Zheng Yang was a great guy. He was a very capable person.
I think they had a debate.
I think you were there. Right? You weren't there?
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
Shenyang Senna and Queen had Queen's best vegetarian food I ever had. Exquisite. I mean, they had a couple of Zen Palace or something they called it. A couple of restaurants that did very well. Same food. And they wouldn't let us do anything. No, we do it. You're a guest. You know. I even had the aspiration to visit the sacred site of Mount Wu Tai Shan with Master Dao Hai so that we could conduct a reading in Chinese, Tibetan, and Sanskrit of Nagarjuna's famed treatise on the Middle Way, which is dear to both Tibetan and Chinese Buddhism. Nagarjuna's text went first to China. I think, and who brought it? Bodhidharma? Somebody brought it. Anyway. It's there, it's a good tradition, and the Tibet Center being what it is should continue like we used to, opening up to everyone, Korean, Buddhists, everyone. Needless to say, the courage and spirit of the indefatigable Chinese pilgrims who traveled to India in search of Buddhist texts and practice traditions has been a profound and continuing inspiration for me. From Faxian, F-A-X-I-A-N, how do you pronounce it? Faxian? You speak Chinese, you don't have to say it. And Zhuangzang, he's famous. Yeah. In the mid-7th century.
Yes.
Yeah. And Yijing in the later 7th century. There was a woman gave a talk at Tibet, and she wrote a book on his travels. Zhuangzang, I have it somewhere. She put one in the Tibetan Center Library. Very good. She's a Westerner, a scholar at one of the universities. These extraordinary monks risked everything for the sake of the Dharma. Yeah, it must have been a riot to go from China into India. No cars, no trains, no planes.
All by himself.
Yeah, and learning the language. One remarkable thing about the Chinese monks is the meticulous records they kept of their journeys. Of these pilgrims, Xuanzang's enduring contribution is universally recognized today. His story is the inspiration behind the famous fable of Monkey in the Chinese literary tradition.
Oh, yeah.
The monkey that does. There was a long series, a 6-part series, remember on TV? I remember she used to make us watch it. Do you like Monkey? Tony, how did he go? I used to go, yeah.
They call it the Journey to the West. I believe they do it. Journey to the West.
Of course, I made a fool of myself, but that's all right. It's all fun. It was thanks largely to Xuanzang's records of Western regions. He called them Western regions then. A massive account of his travels formerly prepared for the Tang Emperor on his return. The Tang dynasty, that many of the important sites associated with the life of the Buddha and with the history of Buddhism in India, such as Nalanda University, were later rediscovered. They forgot all about it. And he went and brought it until it was finally wiped out in the 11th century. But today, millions of Buddhists from all over the world are able to make pilgrimages and honor these sites. So I've always been someone with a deep reverence and respect for the ancient nation of China and its people. And he speaks Chinese, His Holiness. He speaks Mandarin. So he doesn't broadcast it, but he speaks it. In his area where he was born, people are bilingual in the Amdo section. Because Kitty Senchab Rinpoche was from there, and he spoke Chinese. So And he ate pork, which most Tibetans don't. Secondly, I find it helpful to adopt a wider perspective. Now we're talking. Since our sense of being overwhelmed or powerless often arises from viewing a problem too closely. This is the whole world right now. No, it's not. A few days you'll forget about this. You ever have that happen to you? You're so upset, this and that. A week later, what was I mad about? Sometimes not. Sometimes you carry. So this idea of a wide perspective is very helpful, healthy mentally. If you look at your palm up close, yes, you can't see your hand properly. You're too in it. However, you got it? By looking too closely, we get fixated and our perspectives narrow. It's a big point psychologically. Too close, we lose our perspective. Our perspective actually narrows. In contrast, if we could situate the given problem in a larger context, we are then able to appreciate its complexity, its causes, effects, and interconnections. And everything is cause and effect, and everything is interconnected. That's the doctrine of emptiness on ice, dependency on causes, conditions, designating mind, all that. Allowing us to choose a course of action that is more in tune with reality and has greater likelihood of success. So getting in too tight, bringing this focus in the not healthy, dealing with problems. Do you think so or not? The wider perspective also allows us to see the issue within its right proportions, making what previously seemed insurmountable possible to manage, and to recognize any positive aspects there might be despite what has happened. So, you think about that. So when you get overwhelmed, especially things at work, drive you crazy, and this is buzz, they want us to do this and now and that. Okay, it's not great. We're not telling you that's great, that's wonderful, but back up. 2 years from now, what's going to happen? How did this happen? How did this lead into this problem? Is there any way to suggest another outcome other than what's imposed on you, doing it differently? If so, you're not going to find it when you're aggravated, but maybe they want us to do this and that. And you think, well, why don't we do it this way? And it'll still solve what they want, but it won't be such a burden on the teacher. That's an idea like that. That's putting this into practice. The embracing of this kind of wider perspective also makes it possible for us to see the opportunities a specific adversity might bring. Makes you stronger, that's for sure. Like Nietzsche said, that which doesn't destroy me makes me stronger. I don't know about that, but that's in Western philosophy too. As I've often stated, becoming a stateless person brought me closer to reality. When you are a refugee, there is no room left for ceremony or pretension. Had I remained in Lhasa as the theocratic ruler of an independent Tibet, imprisoned in what might be called a golden cage as the holy Dalai Lama, today I might be quite a different person. Being outside my homeland as a refugee has allowed me to meet with people from so many diverse backgrounds and walks of life, from fellow spiritual seekers to scientists, from activists to political leaders, and from artists to engineers. I particularly cherish the privilege I've had to establish friendships and engage in deep conversations with scientists. I would argue that my own Tibetan Buddhist tradition, too, has gained a lot from my being in exile. Today we have successfully instituted the Geshe Ma degree, highest monastic academic accomplishment for the nuns. Yes, he's the revolutionary that's brought this about. And we hopefully will have Geshe Ma, one of the ones that's now living in Connecticut, come here to speak. Introduce formal science education in the monasteries. Do you remember Cho Yang, who spoke last October? She's a teacher of science to the nuns and monks in India. She's getting a degree from Emory. So they all take science courses now in the monasteries. Want some coffee? The point is that if Instead of adopting a wider perspective, we had chosen to remain fixated on our loss. We'd have never had the will or inclination to explore the opportunities that opened up in the wake of our tragedy. And we wouldn't have Tibetan Buddhism here. They got thrown out. They had brought what they had best to give to the world, their gifts to the world, and here we are. It's strange. Just think about it. Suppose they stayed in Tibet. It would be a subject for academics. Ooh, exotic land of Tibet. We had better tea. This is good advice. Third, it is essential to choose optimism as a basic standpoint, however bad things may seem. The problem with its opposite, pessimism, is that one has already chosen to give up even before trying. Man, there's no use. You didn't even try. You got it, right? You're tired. You worked hard. It's all right. Of course, optimism must be based on an appreciation of reality and a clear-eyed approach to seeking the best way forward. In the case of Tibet, for example, the issue is existential, and we don't have the luxury of giving up. That's what pessimism is. You give up. He's calling it by its right name. Fourth, it is important to recognize and appreciate past successes. Yes, I got my driver's license. No, no matter how small. This is vital for encouraging ourselves and recharging our motivation to keep on going. We must never lose hope and must always maintain it if we are to meet with success in the challenges we face. We hope we have the courage to care and the courage to act. The courage to care and the courage to act. Finally, regardless of what happens, we must never lose faith in humanity. Here the key is to remain in touch with our own natural capacity to care for others and never become divorced from our shared humanity, even in relation to those who might have done us harm. Personally, I find this basic altruistic orientation of the heart to be the source of my greatest strength and courage. This is bodhicitta he's talking about, the source of his strength. Every morning when I get up, I remind myself that I'm just another human being, one among the billions on this earth. We are all the same, each and every one of us wishing to be happy and not wanting suffering. As social beings, we seek connection with others and find joy through them. There is no such thing as my own independent interests separate from others. This is stone truth. No such thing. Because our well-being is connected with the well-being of others. With this in mind, I chant these verses from the 8th century master Shantideva. His translation is very good. It's parts of Shantideva. And here it is. All those who are happy in the world are so because they desire happiness for others. All those unhappy in the world are so because they desire only their own happiness. Therefore, if one does not switch the outlook of self-centeredness to other-centeredness, let alone the attainment of enlightenment, even in this life there can be no joy. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. So he put the parts of Shantideva together, make this little thing. Chanting these verses give me a deep inspiration and reinforces my determination on a daily basis. We're all the same human beings on this small planet. We all happen to have been born here at this time in the long history of humankind. At most, we have a lifespan of about 100 years. This is but a blip in the great age of our planet. What matters most is that what we do with our short life. If we live life divorced from our shared humanity, embroiled in discord and division, and causing harm, what a waste of precious life. If we choose to live our life caring for others, our human family, and fragile planet, we will have made our life meaningful. So, when the final day comes, we will look back without regret and feel that our life on this earth has been worthwhile. And I think if we come to the Tibet Center, you'll like it. I got to sell the Tibet Center. It's true, because the Tibet Center, it's the truth as it is written. So, it's a good book if you're interested in history, really. But that is the only part where he breaks and gives advice, is he figures, I got a lot of readers now, right in the middle, let me think. Always caring for others. Oh boy, we don't have that much time. So we're working from this commentary on the Lamrim by Yangtze Rinpoche, because it's very readable. And there's a lot of YouTubes where he's on giving talks, etc. He currently lives in, you know him, right? So he currently lives in Oregon. He's a director of Maitrapa University, college or whatever they call it. It's an FPMT operation. But he was recently here and probably will come back again to Shantideva Center. So you get a chance to see him. Well, you could look at all his YouTubes. There's at least 20 of them. He's like Rinpoche, Chungla Rinpoche. He'll say something and then drift here, then come back and drift. Obviously a yogi. And he's very good at getting the right word to make it seems to have more meaning. He was Geshe Sopa's student. He was his teacher in a previous life. Now in this life he's Geshe Sopa's student. Geshe Sopa has been reborn. He will probably be his teacher. But Geshe Sopa brought him to the United States when he was 16 for a while to get used to America. So he knows how Americans think. You have to give a class in the West and all that. And hung around the University of Wisconsin where Geshe Sopa was a professor. Then went back to Sarah. I forget which Sarah, May or J.I.
Sarah May.
Sarah May. So, yeah, now he's a lay person. So, like our Rinpoche, he knows daily life from the ground up. He can spend his life in the monastery totally. Good for him. So, we're doing the 7 limbs of puja, part of the meditation practice, so you know what that is. You give offerings, make prostrations. We talked prostration last time. Confession is important, or purification, so we'll go through a little of that. The 4 opponent powers, the psychological stance you take in your mind to clear your karma. There's nothing physical. I mean, you can do the physical things, clean things and stuff, but you got to clean what's in here. So you rely on 4 different things. The power of the basis, which means taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. That's where we start from. All right, we're using the Buddhist method. Maybe other religions have other methods. We're using the Buddhist method, which in the Mahayana is take refuge, generate bodhicitta. This counteracts the negative actions we've done in relation to holy objects. We take refuge. To counteract the negative objects we've done in relation to other sentient beings, we generate bodhicitta. Counter forces. All this is in our mind. All our negative actions are done in relation to either or both of these 2 objects, either beings or objects. That's it. Nothing left. All of this. So we should generate the power of regret, and this is the key to the whole confession. This is the strength of your own. You're generating your own force to obliterate karma. Somebody doesn't come down and do that for you. I'll take care. No. You have to regret. You don't have to crawl to Lhasa or something, but regret is important. If by mistake we were to drink poison right away, we want to take the antidote of that poison to counteract the pain. Our regret should follow the same pattern. Don't hesitate. Did I skip a page? Yes, I do. It should be as sincere and as quick as if we had taken poison by mistake. You wait at McDonald's. Terrible. You think, no, it's a joke. Imagine that there are 3 people who have eaten the same poison. The first person has died from it. The next is violently ill. And the last person has yet to experience any effect at all. Having seen the effects of the poison, the last individual will do everything he or she can to remove it from his or her system so as not to have to suffer like the others. Whoa, of course. You'd race to the emergency room or whatever, get your stomach pumped. I don't know what you do. So, and you wouldn't hesitate because it's obvious in your face. This is what happens. The bigger thing is happening to us. The deeds that we do will throw us into lower realms, not just make us sick in this life. Big deal over many, many eons. So that's the stakes, the gambling stakes we're dealing with. We all have great stores of negative karma, he's telling you. We all drank poison. They're inactive now. They're latent. If conditions come up, we can meet with them. We don't know what we've done in the past. How can you infer? Are you carrying a lot of load of heavy karma or not? If it's hard for you to do Buddhist practices and you'd rather watch TV, that's an indication that you're carrying a load. Not that bad, but it's an indication. It's hard for you to stay on a practice, is another indication. He'll say this, so let him talk. Others who have accumulated negative karma already experience the results of the lower realms, or on their deathbeds waiting for their karma to ripen. But we ourselves have yet to die. Our karma is yet to ripen. Like the person who has been poisoned, in order not to experience the resultant suffering, we should do everything we can to apply the antidote while we are able. Therefore, we should sincerely regret all our negative actions. You don't have to make 10,000 prostrations. It helps, but the mental thought, I shouldn't have done that. Not only is it, I'll suffer, wait a minute, I cause others to suffer. I don't want to be that kind of person. In the past, I didn't know, for some reason or other. Now I know. So I don't know everything I did in general, but I'll assume I don't want to do that again. I reject having done that. As a result of that, I'm not a Buddha, which is my destiny, but I'm not yet. So you could think that way. And you don't have to sit there for hours constantly bringing it up. Every day just review that lightly. It'll stick, because it's the truth. On the basis of the power to regret, we reply the antidote. The antidote purifies the effects of negative karmic actions. The very best antidotes are meditating on emptiness, meditating on bodhicitta, and meditating on compassion. You do that to counter force. Very important, and that's not hard to do. They're nice thoughts to hang around with. They'll never annoy you. Other antidotes include recitation of the names of 35 Buddhas, offering prostration, reciting Vajrasattva mantra, and so forth. But basically, bodhicitta, if you don't have a realization of emptiness, who does? Or good conceptual understanding, bodhicitta. I want to do the best for all sentient beings. Without, you bring that up. It helps. And you'll feel better. Hey, that's what we're after here. The power of resolution is the fourth power. I'm not going to do it again. I promise, Mom. Which means making the commitment in the future that we will not do that action again, even at the cost of our life. So what makes us actually be that, sincere in that request? The strength of the resolution or commitment we make is dependent upon the strength of our regret. Regret sincerely, it takes care of that. I'm not going to do it again. So Buddha's very clever here. They don't tell you, you got to, make the commitment, force yourself. No, do this, and you will have the power to make the commitment. Take it in the right steps. It's like judo. You use the energy of certain things and turn it against the opponent, stuff like that. His own energy turned around. Very clever, and very clever psychologically. And how well we are able to keep the commitment of the resolution, again, is very much dependent on the quality of our regret. I'm never going to do this again. I'm not going to shoot that person. Whatever. I'm just making a joke. But if you firmly regret, that takes care of things subconsciously. And you won't have these impulses. In case you're wondering, that's what I was talking about before, one sign that you have accumulated heavy negative karma is that you are not easily able to engage in positive actions and dharma activities. So only you know the answer to that. You have heavy karma or not. Although you may not find it difficult to begin such activities, you may experience great resistance and exhaustion while actually doing them. A little less, but still proof that a lot of things are bubbling under there that shouldn't be there. Clean house. If you have experienced something like this, you should persevere in the practices of purification as set forth in the preliminaries of this text. The signs that you have successfully purified your negative karma is that your understanding of what you are studying improves. And you experience positive changes in your thoughts and actions. You may be more inclined to pick up a book and study. Seems like I should be doing this. Rinpoche said other signs that you've purified or you dream you're throwing up, stuff like that. There are a lot of other signs in the tantric tradition of indicators that you're clearing out. We'll probably discuss that more, but I remember throwing up is good. Oh, it's great. Oh, you'll feel better afterwards. Okay. But they think that way. Throughout all the preparatory practices, you also maintain the visualization of the merit field. Now, if you're a tantric practitioner preparing to be, and the Lam Rim's preparation for tantra, that's what it is. It's Basic Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhist Sutra, from the Tantric Vajrayana point of view. Basic common practices from the Vajrayana point of view. You are going to Buddhahood. The only way you can become a Buddha is through highest yoga tantra in this life. That's the only way. And His Holiness says if you have right view, renunciation, bodhicitta, you must enter the tantric path. Not you should. You must enter the tantric path because you will be enlightened faster, and you pledge to help all sentient beings. The best way to help them is to be a Buddha. So it's not like a casual thing. Well, maybe I'll be a Buddha. Maybe I won't. What the hell? You have bodhicitta. You want to help them the optimum way. And I mean, look at the time. We've got some time, not too much. People want to comment, disagree, please. So the merit field is different ones, and for different. If you study a particular tantra, you have that deity with his or her retinue, and there's just a general assembly, Sakapa in the middle, stuff like that. The Kargyus, they all have their own. But the idea is that all these beings are there. They've traveled the path, and they give you strength. Not only that, they're realized beings. You put them up in your mind. They know what you're doing. They want to help you, and they have the means to help you. You just have to open to them. And these techniques are all opening up to what's ready to help you. It's like you want this uncovering something so the sun can get to it. Same thing here. That attitude makes it a lot easier to do this work. You know, if it is work. It's our destinies. I don't know if you want to call it work. Don't look for a salary. You get merit. As Eddie Tongue used to say, you get merit. According to Lamrim, in the extensive version of the visualized field of merit, there are 5 groups. Buddha sits in the center, and he's surrounded by lineage masters, the extensive conduct, the lineage masters of profound method, the lineage masters of blessed practice, and spiritual teachers who have taken teachings directly and indirectly. And you could imagine your guru. And in Tantra, the guru is the whole show. It embodies all of that. They all condense it to the guru. The guru is in your head, the guru comes here. One package. Convenient. For the higher tantric practitioners, that's what they do. We could practice it now. You know, like you learn scales of the musician before you do the whole symphony or something. Same thing. So, rejoicing, we'll do that quickly. 4th limb of the 7-limb practice, rejoicing. These elements you should bring up every day quickly, but you could do them in like 20 seconds each. Boom, boom. 3 minutes, you do the whole Gada and Lajap prayer. It's the 7-limb puja prayer. It has all those verses, inviting, ask to teach, prostrating, imaginary offerings, confession, the whole bit is in there. Rejoicing. Lama Tsongkhapa also praised the limb of rejoicing as a practice by which we can accumulate great stores of merit without a great deal of effort, and everyone votes for that one right now. One female Lama, I forget who it was, not Chikalabdana, says, I know a practice you could do relaxing lying down, admiring everybody else's good deeds. And Nikki always tells the story. Tony said when I became a monk, he was very glad because then he doesn't have to be a monk and he could admire my deeds. And that's what I did. I stayed here and I went to the movies and everything else. And I admired what he did. So it's very important. It's very refreshing to the mind. It's very positive. You share the joy that these people must have. And also you see somebody, oh, for me, oh, wonderful. Share their joy. Don't be jealous. You got something that I did. How disgusting. You know, I'm so glad she's happy. Look at that. And you really find yourself swept away. You know, you're not hijacking their joy. It's for everybody. So that's another, rather than being jealous. So, you know, well, what does she get to do? What good does that do you? Nothing. That thought is planted and it's going to keep growing unless you get rid of it. So, you do that.
I used to tell like how do you get to rejoice for people so easily? That and he said, I just rejoice. I was like, it's so hard for me to rejoice.
You start small. You just make it a habit. The mind is clever. It likes to have. It does develop habits. So why not turn it in the right way? It's naturally doing all these things. It gets obsessed. It carries. Good. Rejoice in everyone's merit. Somebody won lotto. I'm very happy, you know. But basically in their spiritual accomplishments. And that's good too. But just everyday things. What's the opposite? If you don't watch yourself, you'll find yourself being subtly jealous sometimes.
Actually, our habit is like jealousy, all those stuff, right? I see my mind, I get jealous with my friends or whoever, but I know this is wrong, and my mind is like going that way, right? So I said, okay, be rejoice,
Fine.
right? And then next time, this might come up, and then, that energy, the bad energy is getting less.
Yes.
This is very good practice.
You're taking the power from that bad energy by what? The power of your awareness.
Yeah.
We're not well practicing it now. The great yogi just explodes with happiness for them. But us, we're learning. But you took the wind out of that bad karma. It's not going to plant a karmic seed of jealousy that causes you trouble. You're in charge.
Even I can't do it right at that moment.
No.
But I change.
You wish to do it.
Yeah.
You wish to do it. What do you think? No? Yes? So it's getting late, so we have to do all these prayers. We have names, Darren, besides all the victims? Texas flood victims. Oh boy. It's the Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. It's in the FAQ section. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those along with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. Melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha, the great Jnana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue. I prostrate to the Tathagata, pure the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So now we do the grammar of the 8 verses for training the mind. And it says that, 8 verses. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I had benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. A prayer for a swift return written by His Holiness for the return of Rathochungla Rinpoche. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop. Sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes. Guru Lozang, Tubuang, Dorje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled, supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Losang Tempe, magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors. May you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. That's our Gallowing trumpet. That's always. So the next Dharma talk will be at 7 o'clock Wednesday night in the parsonage in South Orange, New Jersey. And this Saturday there is the White Terrace Sadhana, 1 o'clock. It's on our website. And after the Sadhana, refreshments are served. delicious refreshments. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Take care, guys.